I'm Ricky Clark. I'm an assistant professor in the Department of Political Science, and I research international political economy and international cooperation. My first book, Cooperative Complexity, discusses how international organizations work together, so how they might co-finance, for instance, development projects in the developing world. The conventional wisdom in most of the literature and in policy circles is that these institutions tend to be at competitive loggerheads. So if one of these institutions get a member state's business, it means that another is losing out on the opportunity to pursue a development project. What my book does is it says that this actually isn't really the case. It's not that simple or straightforward, because these institutions often work together to jointly implement development projects. The problem with competition is that the member states that belong to multiple institutions can choose the one that's asking the least of them. So you can kind of get a race to the bottom on policy. This is important because the World Bank, the International Monetary Fund, they operate in terms of conditionality. So they'll say, we'll give you this money if you implement these reforms. And maybe those reforms have to do with democracy or human rights, things that we typically think are normatively good outcomes in development. When these institutions work together, it erases that element of choice for the recipient countries. And so whatever bargain the two institutions strike, they can jointly implement that set of policies that they've agreed upon. So this is a really novel and important outcome because it tells us when institutions can coerce or implement the policies that they want to see developed in the developing world versus when there's this competitive aspect and states have to choose between one option or another. In my next book project, Global Governance Under Fire, I look at how international organizations are trying to work around and against the populist threat to international cooperation. And so the basic idea is that international organizations are living, breathing entities. They have agency, and so they can fight back against rogue actors. We can think of populist or nationalist leaders. So what the book is interested in is how international organizations have remained sort of resilient and vibrant, even in the face of all of this resistance. It's surprising that these institutions have not fallen or that they've remained resilient, that they continue to operate in many countries and be successful. So I was fortunate enough to do my undergraduate education at Notre Dame, and so I had really strong relationships with some of the institutes, like the Kellogg Institute here, as well as the Department of Political Science, which has a long tradition of studying issues of democracy and development. And so I've been able to tap into some of those resources and networks that are present here to further my research. I'm also doing some work on climate change and climate governance, thinking about, for instance, can the Paris Agreement be successful in actually coercing countries to mitigate their emissions? So the Sustainability Initiative at Notre Dame has also been sort of a nice synergy with some of this ongoing research, and I'm really excited to keep cooperating with many of these enterprises and ongoing initiatives.